It's a beautiful design. It's coming along. Beautiful. Carlos, brother, good to see you. Likewise, good to see you. You got the right color. Always. Normally it's a red somewhere around, but then, okay. There you go. Yeah, brother. Mike, all right, brother. Mike, good. How are you, sir?
Hello, everyone. We're going to get started. We are going to get started. Yeah, so once again, if you all would like any food, please feel free to help yourself in the East Lobby right outside these sliding doors. Good evening. Thank you all for joining us. My name is Kenny Doss. I am the Corridor Project Manager here at GAGDC. And for those of you who are new here, the Greater Auburn Gresham Development Corporation. And thank you all for the ones that couldn't make it here in person, but joined us virtually as well. I just want to lay down a few housekeeping rules. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, please raise your hand and I will come around with a mic. We need you to talk into the mic so that those online are able to hear you. Also, if you're online, if you have a question, please raise your hand or type it in the chat and we'll be sure to make sure that that question get answered. I also would like to introduce the rest of our economic development team here at GAGDC.
Good evening. My name is Ria Steele. I'm the SSA Corridor Manager, that special service area that handles the 87th Street Malls and 83rd Street Mall. And I'm also a longtime resident of Auburn Gresham.
Good evening. I'm Kaim Anderson, who manages our special service area team. And I am also a 30-plus year resident, and I live on this block, actually. It's great to see you guys tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Norma Sanders, Director of Special Initiatives. I'm kind of the superset of all the business support, where you just heard our different corridors, and anybody that's an entrepreneur or a wantrepreneur Just check me out.
And greetings, everyone. Carlos Nelson with GAGDC. And I also want to mention we've got a couple of the nearby beats, also CAPS beats represented, beat 612 and beat 621, and beat facilitators are also present at today's meeting.
So also, I forgot to add, if you all look at the agenda, we want to make sure that we're on time and be respectable of those who are speaking and those who are coming here to get.
Respectful.
So we like to stay on track to move on. So we will allow questions to be asked after the presentations, but for time's sake, let's just be respectful of everyone's time here. So I don't know if, do we have any newcomers? So usually what we do here at the community roundtable, this roundtable is more than just and be an informative meeting. This is for us to also know who's in the room, know what new business owner is coming to the community, or if you're somewhere else in the greater community as well. This is the chance for us to get to know who's in the room, to see how we could do business with one another and keep the dollars circulating within our communities. If you're online and this is your first time joining this roundtable, please raise your hand and I'll be sure to call on you. For those of you who are new, and we'll get the mic. We treat this like speed dating, right? Who you are, if you have a business, if you're from the community, what block you're from. You don't have to say that, but once again, let's be respectful of everyone's time. So if you are new, this is your first community roundtable, please raise your hand.
Hello, everybody. My name is Latricia Tate. I am born and raised Auburn Gresham, 83rd and Ada, and I'm also the CEO of the Chicago Recovery Project. It's a new project coming soon.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Monique Shelton. I am the Director of Community Engagement for the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, along with Tony Galloway, who is our Southland Engagement Specialist.
Hands raised. No. Oh.
Hi, my name is Renita Donaldson. I am Auburn Gresham also. Live on 86 and Ben Sims. I am, I'm a business owner. I have a couple of properties, 2 or 3 of them, and I am currently doing Airbnb, looking to expand.
So I see we do have a raised hand. You could take your phone off mute.
Hello, everybody. This is Jason Parker. I am the director of Sweet Little Feet School for Early Learners. We're the daycare located on 79th and Bishop. I am not new to the community roundtable, but I just wanted to check in and let everybody know that I was here.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. And if I'm correct, Mr. Parker is taking students to be enrolled at his facility, correct?
I am always having. Again, we're on 79th and Bishop.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Parker.
I just wanted to mention, though, this is a community meeting, and the way we've done these roundtables, they're all equally yoked. We are all equally yoked in here. We are all residents. We are all business owners. We all make up the fabric of this community. I do want to acknowledge we have elected officials in the room. I want to say we'll start with Alderman David Moore is in the room. All right. We have Alderman Will Hall in the room. Representing State Representative Michael Crawford. We have Anthony in the room. And if I missed anyone, I do want to acknowledge State Senator Jacqueline Collins, who was our state senator for 20 years. Senator Preston might be en route, but Senator Collins is well, I don't have the boards up yet, but was a real key in the reason that the Metro, the key, let me acknowledge Chief of Staff Cordero Jackson of the 17th Ward. But Senator Collins was the key to getting the Metro engine on the track. And so I'm glad she still has stayed with it. Okay, back to you.
So do we have anyone else online? We're good. So we're just going to take a dive into it. So our first presenters of the day will be Metro.
Thank you. All right, good evening, everyone. It's a beautiful night in Auburn Gresham, and we want to thank you again for having us present at the GAGDC. And it is always such a blessing to be in communities where neighbors as well as elected officials are partnered on projects for the common good. And so it is nice to come back to communities and give an update on projects that are long awaited and which we know will make an impact. And again, a special thank you to both our aldermen, the state rep, as well as State Senator Collins, who deserves, if not all, a lot of the credit for this station. So I want to introduce our project management team and our capital delivery team, who will actually give you the update. First, my name is McKay Murphy. I work for Metro as a community relations liaison. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me, or if you don't have my info, you can reach out to Carlos, and I'm sure he'd be happy to direct you my way. The folks behind me to my left is Michelle Woods, who is our project manager on this project. To my right, we have Nick Peterson, who is a part of our program management team at Metro, who handles this project. And then we have Mark Delaney, who is our Chief Capital Delivery Officer. And their day-to-days, I can say, are pretty much taken up making sure that projects like these are going smoothly and we can deliver the best project in the long term. So I want to turn it over now to Nick Peterson, who's going to give the presentation on the update. I will say, we would love to give another presentation. We're double booked tonight, so we may have to dip after a few questions, but we're very, very happy to be here and to speak with you all this evening. So I'll give it to you, Nick.
All right. Thanks, McKay. As McKay mentioned, I'm the...
1 second. So just so everyone know, we will take another deeper dive with Metro before the year ends. So I'll send out email with the next date. So please make sure you sign in so that we have your information to make sure you're here.
Okay. Thank you. As McKay mentioned, I'm Nick Peterson. I'm Deputy Program Manager for the PMO, and we're going to jump right into the presentation. So the Auburn Park Station is going to bring a new infill station into the neighborhood, which is going to include 2 new elevators, ramps, new platform, and several ground improvements in the area. All right, let's try this again. Is that what it was? So also ground level improvements that you're already starting to see along the perimeter there, the new wall that's up, the vendor space, the new patio pavement area that was actually recently installed. So you're starting to see some of that ground level progress, and we're building out from top down of the station. So here's a rendering that I'm sure most of you have seen, and you're anxious to see this finalized. And we are ready to be done with this project as well. It's presented several challenges. So you'll see we've got actually some pictures. As you can see, the patio area that was the paved area that was placed earlier this week. And this is the area that you guys can't really see, right? So this is the new elevator shafts, the stairwells. So this is what's happening between the tracks. So as you guys can imagine, digging underneath live train tracks, building up between train tracks, it's extremely complicated, and it takes time, and sometimes you run into things that make more time than what you anticipate. So I'm sure it's kind of neat to see that stuff that you guys don't get to see every day. Also, this is a great milestone for the project, starting to get the first portion of the platform installed. So you got to have a place to board, right, to be able to get on the trains. So they started setting those panels this week, and it's really exciting to get that, and it will be a heated platform. So no snow melt, you won't get your boots dirty with salt. It's a great addition for this neighborhood. So that's the current project that's going. The other key element is that the project is, it's behind. I mean, I'm not gonna try to, sugarcoat it, but it will be done summer of 27. We're pushing as hard as we can. There's always challenges on these projects, but that is the current completion date. Or, that's the next project. I was like, oh no. No, summer of 27, and we're being conservative in that, hopefully, but it's just the reality of the situation. It takes a team to do it, and we're pushing really hard to get this done. Trust me, we want to be done with it as bad as you guys want us to be done with it. And as you can see here, we've got the project team. We're all over. And then also the platform, just one key element for you guys. So when you guys are able to use it,
I'm on
Whoever's online, would you mind muting your? Please make sure we're on mute. Could you please? Thank you.
All right, so when we do open the station, when you guys walk up there, don't panic and think it's a really short station. It's being built in 2 phases, and the reason it's going to be built in 2 phases is the next project that I'm going to talk about. So you'll see a short platform, but it will get bigger eventually. But first, the next project we'll talk about is the lift bridge. So they're actually those 3 bridges that are remaining out there. They're going to lift them 9 inches so that the freight railroad can move more freight underneath. So this is part of the CREATE program here in the Chicago area, huge regional program, and this is just one micro portion of that, but it does tie into this area and this project, and it's just one more coordination thing as you guys are developing throughout the community and throughout the area. Things we were talking earlier, small bites, right? So small bites, and this is just kind of one of those small bites. So here's the existing condition, and if we got a couple pictures from earlier this week. So as you can see, they're starting to put some bracing in and some supports in, and next weekend, so this is coming up hot off the press, next weekend they are going to actually lift the first span, and they will re-support the span and then start running trains on Monday. So it's pretty impressive in a weekend to be able to take it out, raise the bridge, put new bearings and supports under the bridge, and start running trains on Monday. That's a lot of coordination. And the contractor, Granite Construction, I'll give them a lot of credit and a shout out here because they've done a very good job planning and staying out in front of that, and great job communicating with our team, and that's why we're ready to go. And that project is on schedule. And so you'll see some more work that they've been doing. And again, you guys can't see these cool things that are happening, from the street always. And if we keep going. Oh, I guess so, thank you. But that portion of that project is scheduled to be completed fall of 2027. Yep, the EW2, yep. And then there's the follow-on project for the platform, the remaining platform. So that's what we've got for an update. I guess we'll take any questions.
All right, so all right, go ahead, Senator. Hang on, let's speak in the microphone so you can be heard online.
So there are no more permits needed. Everything is cleared with the city because we have the alderman here, and I want to make sure they're on board. Everything is progressing, right? And the bus cut out.
Everything for the Auburn Park main station is done. Permits are in place. Everything's progressing forward. There will be a follow-up ask or permit needed for the remaining extension. We are meeting with MOPD sometime in October for that. So that'll be the remaining section of the platform. So there is going to be an ask coming up for that, and potentially some GOPs for some right of entry type stuff. So
okay,
we're kind of resorting that stuff out right now.
Okay, and just would you keep me in the loop? Many of your faces are new. This project is a 20-year sojourn. We've been working on that for 20 years to try to get this station. And I just want to mention something that came to my attention, and I don't know if Carlos was going to address it or not. This is something I learned in reference to the notice that went out in reference to the station being closed over the weekend for the lifting of the bridge. I heard that there was an announcement that ran in the Beverly Review. If you look around in this room, we do not reside in the Beverly Review area. And yet we do have people that take the Metro because you have a stop on 87th and Halsted. So I think it's somewhat indicative of the problems I've had over the years with Metro and the respect that this community is due. And I think our apology is in order for not informing the Metro riders in this community about that project taking place on the weekend.
Thank you for that, and it is on us. We should be better prepared to share the information with the communities that it most impacts. And I will say that today they were out flyering across the Rock Island District. So hopefully they will continue to do that to make residents aware, but we need to do a better job. So I apologize for that.
We have a question as I head to that, a couple of questions over there. I do have just a statement because we do have the block club president from the 7900 block of Low, and we've got residents from the 7800 block of Low. And that last piece about the movement of the bridges, I think you maybe should take a moment or two to delve a little bit deeper. And since it's going to be happening over whatever weekend, 3-day span, how will that impact those nearby residents?
So if we're talking just about the lift bridge, the lift portion of that, so I know we've had several weekend line cuts where the guys have worked up on the track and they've moved the track out of the way to do waterproofing and get the tracks back in service on Monday. I would anticipate a very similar experience to what that was. You know, we will have equipment out here. You know, it is a 24/7 operation. Now that one, you know, the actual lifting, as you can see, that if we go back to that one picture, everything is going to be done, you know, incrementally with these lift devices. So, you know, it's not like we've got a big crane out there that's going to be picking the whole bridge up, right? It's done incrementally, and then they'll replace the bearings themselves. Now there will be man lifts running around, and there will be trucks in and out with the materials. Metro will also be up at track level, cutting out the tracks, pulling off ballast, and then putting the tracks back on Sunday night. So there will be a noise, and that's just kind of the nature of being able to pull it out of service and have it back in service Monday.
So,
and there'll be no impact to the CTA busing, so the road will remain open.
So if the metro, like the construction of the metro, if it's not done in 2027, what will happen?
Well, that's a good question. I like it. So when you go to high school, graduate, so look up construction management as a career. You're already halfway there. So yeah, we'll hire you. So, you know, there's contract mechanisms in place, right? And there is a penalty for the contractor as they run behind if they're not entitled to time. You know, sometimes, you know, Metro's made mistakes. Sometimes there's things that have been found in the ground that just nobody could have anticipated, and that's delayed the project. But sometimes it is on the contractor. You know, so there is a mechanism that if we don't grant them time due to any of the other project issues, there is a penalty that they pay back to Metro, you know, in a form of what's called liquidated damages. And it's pretty standard on any public agency contract. It's a great question, though.
Thank you. I would like to know, what do you plan to do relative to modifications of traffic on 79th Street for persons who are using the Metro to go in and go out, and how this affects the residents in the area? I have been a member that Metro used to be there as an open station in the 60s. And as the neighborhood changed, Metro closed that station. So I don't feel real good about you knowing, because I kind of know the history. So I do want to know, what can we have as an assurance that the residents of the area will not be affected negatively relative to transporting and moving down 79th Street, which is already a very busy corridor?
I don't believe we've got any improvements or any changes happening within the curb line to curb line of 79th Street. We've got the new storefront there, the vendor space that's put in right there along 79th Street. So there's the decorative facade that you now see standing. But we're not going into the street any further, are we?
And your question may be about traffic. Oh, I'm sorry. Traffic flow in general, but when people are turning in to drop off and things like that. Do you want to talk about the kiss and ride, the aspect of the station that may be?
And the effect of persons coming into the area to park at the metro station and the station is full with no more parking spaces. That means it overflows into the neighborhoods, possibly.
So this parking lot will have 84 spaces. We don't anticipate within the first year of having more than 84 daily riders that would use the parking spots that are provided. So we don't anticipate that being a problem. It likely won't be.
So as I mentioned for everyone in the room, we are going to take a deeper dive for just the Metra project itself. We're looking at likely October or probably the December 17th meeting. And so we'll spend a lot of time kind of going through these items, these issues, and plus it'll be an opportunity to check the barometer as to whether the summer of 2027 is still on the track. And I want to give a shout out to State Senator Willie Preston and his lovely wife, Brittany, who joined us in the room. And before I give the mic back over to Kenny, I think we've got two questions on the chat. Just our last two questions.
Want me to read them? Yes. If it's the two at the end. Will Metro be cleaning up the tracks near 80th and Low? The wall is crumbling. Also, will they repair the concrete wall as well near 80th and Low? I can put in the request to engineering for them to clean the tracks after I leave this meeting, and I'll let them know about the crumbling wall as well. I don't know off the top of my head if that's already planned work that they intend on doing, but the overall maintenance I can put in that request. Thank you very much.
I actually can expand. There is a project for some retaining walls along the Rock Island, and we'll get that information to McKay. So we're leading it. Engineering, Metro Engineering will likely be doing the work, but we'll get him the limits of that. And like he said, he'll look into the 80th section there.
Would you just speak out where the 87th bridge is located for the people in the chat that's being arranged as you're...
The EW2 bridge? Yeah. That is just north of 79th.
It is. It's okay. It runs parallel to Vincent.
Bridge 87 is 78th Street.
Yeah.
Right.
And also, explain the metric tracks are on top of that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so that is the bridge that the station platform is being built on, right? That is why the station platform is going to be built short and opened short, because we are actually lifting the bridge where we're going to build the rest of the platform on. So once the bridge lift is done and all of that work has been completed and closed out, we will be coming back to extend the platform across the bridge that we just raised. 79th Street.
That's 79th. All right. So constituents both on the north side of the street in the 17th ward, constituents on the south side of the street in the 16th ward. All right. I mean, I'm sorry. 6th ward. Other 6th ward. Apologize.
Thank you, Carlos. State Senator Willie Preston here, and to I don't know your name, honey, but for the traffic question that you raised, I think that's a very important one.
And as a state senator who represents this area, I think that it's important that we get IDOT involved prior to opening so that we can have them conduct a traffic impact study so that you can have that question answered with some precision, because that is important. And I appreciate the fact that you all are going to do your level best, obviously, to coordinate this properly, but the state has a role to play in this. I think my predecessor would agree with that. And I'm a little late to the meeting, but I would be remiss if I did not thank you again for this original $20 million investment. This is an improvement for this community and this region. Thank you, Senator Jackie Collins. You'll always be a senator, and I'm so grateful for your work on this. We're going to keep it going.
Thank you, Metro. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
So, hold on.
Could you please share with us, I think Garnett was the name of the construction company that you shared. Can we get some information, and I'm not asking for it tonight, that we know who the number of African-American employees you have and their positions? Thank you. That,
Yep.
not just numbers, but their positions.
Share the number. I will talk with our DBE department and see how detailed they can get. But I can get numbers, certainly. But I will make that ask.
Thank you. Thank you, Metro.
Thank you.
So like I said, we'll shoot to have Metro here again December the 17th. Please mark your calendars. December the 17th, same time, same place. I also just had a sidebar with Alderman David Moore from the 17th Ward, and he said we'll try to work to get CDOT here as well to answer those certain specific questions about the streets. So want to move right along into the agenda. Next up, we have Business Spotlight. So usually what we do is we like to highlight a business owner. It could be a new business owner that's coming to the community. It could be an existing business owner that's coming to the community. We had the privilege to work with Miss Naomi Tolbert and see her whole journey, hear her story, and to see her how successful her business was. I'll let her get into all the details of who she is, but I would like you all to welcome Miss Naomi Tolbert from God is Good Foods.
So good evening, everybody. So glad to be here. And thank you, GAGDC, for giving me the opportunity to be here tonight. I, just kind of share a little bit of my story. So I was here, a little over a year ago, presenting to you all. And I think the journey has been great. Like I said, I think without the help of support of GAGDC, I don't think I would have been able to get to the point that I did when it came to God is Good Food. And so just to give some context, my company, God is Good Food that's good for you, gluten-free cauliflower frozen pizzas. We're in 16 locations throughout the city. And part of those efforts, really came forth with getting acquainted with the GAGDC team, learning about opportunities specifically with Save a Lot. A few years back and being able to present in front of some of their leaders. And so at that point, just kind of being aware that the opportunity existed, presenting my product. And then I believe it was early last year when they circled back and shared that there was opportunities available, that the stores were up and running, they were ready to go. And so I was able to present in front of all of them and get into all 7 of their locations. And with that, we were able to have a ribbon cutting this past March. And things were, really looking up in terms of conversations, specifically with Joe Canfield, who, was excited about the opportunity of expanding beyond just the frozen section, offering some hot food options in some of their locations and whatnot, and just really kind of going from there. For those who do not know, Joe Canfield unfortunately passed away back in April of this year, suddenly through a stroke. And with that, definitely put a halt into those aspirations. As you all know, the Save a Lot locations are now all closed. And so, being in 16 stores, that was a loss of 7, and it really, had me reevaluate where I am as a business owner, and unfortunately, making a decision to sunset the business. Just because there's been not only, with that, I think it just caused me to reflect on what am I doing, where am I going, and where do I want to eventually end up. And I just think when it comes to scaling, it hasn't been as not necessarily quickly, but in the rate that I'd like to see it go, alongside some newer opportunities that I've been introduced to and pursuing. So I recently became the president of the National Association of Health Services Executives, which is a healthcare association focused on Black healthcare leaders, a national organization, but president of the Chicago chapter, and a few other things like becoming a homeowner recently. So with that, I just, really decided that I think it's probably best to sunset the business, put a pin in it for now. But I do think that entrepreneurship is in my future, but maybe looking different. Probably not inclusive of pizzas, but something different. If we have to run it back, we will. But in the meantime, I think it's really important just to know where you are and where you want to go. But I truly appreciate the help and the support of the entire GAGDC team for me to be able to have gotten as far as I did, because I wouldn't have known about the opportunity, wouldn't have been exposed to those leaders, specifically Joe, to make that dream into reality. But again, I don't think that it's an ending, it's a new beginning, it's a pivot. But I hope that this, can contribute to some of the conversations that are being had within the community, specifically with the aldermen that are represented here tonight, of just, the opportunities or the potential of creating more opportunities for small business owners like myself and others of different opportunities, because that was one that was lost. Joe was very committed to the community, and hopefully there is hopes and aspirations that are attached to you all's political endeavors to be able to pursue future opportunities for other business owners. So on that note.
Thank you. Did anyone have any questions for Ms. Tolbert in person or online? No. So I would like to add, so something that we were working on right before Joe passed, we were able to access the Inglewood location on 63rd and Halsted, and we was looking to activate that hot bar. And Naomi wasn't just trying to get her products in that hot bar. She was fighting for other community members as well to join her in that whole area, as far as if you had sandwiches or chicken or whatever it is you wanted to cook, but to really help other business owners to be able to make a change and grow their business and scale their businesses. Since day one from working with Ms. Tolbert, she has always kept community first. And that's why we wanted to bring her here to share her story, because not only did this grocery store close and affect just local community members, but also local business owners as well. I could say that Joe did a great job with keeping his word and making sure that we had local vendors here from the
back was pretty good,
shelves. So I definitely just want to shed light on your business, and hopefully we could all come together and be able to get your pieces back on the shelves. Yeah. Discussion. So now I would like to segue right into the closings of the Save-A-Lots.
All right, so we thought it was important that you hear the perspective of someone who had product placed in the store. We worked, this community, I think, was one of the rare communities that really worked diligently to bring the Save-A-Lot, but not just the old dirty Save-A-Lot of yesteryear, but really a reimagined Save-A-Lot. The Auburn Gresham Neighborhood Network partners, the local aldermen, the 17th Ward office as well. We met regularly. Joe Canfield, the CEO that passed, used to be at this meeting. And so the impact of the closing of the Save-A-Lot, as Kenny mentioned, is not just impacting small business owners like Naomi, but obviously residents in the community. We've got a senior center, Naomi and Sylvester Smith Senior Center right across the street. They're represented here today. We've got partners from the west side. I don't know if Angela from Garfield Park is on. Maybe you can unmute if you are on, and you can kind of talk.
I'm here, Carlos.
Yeah, why
Thank you.
don't you
Good
just take
evening, everyone.
Go ahead, Angela. Talk about just briefly your impact on the west side at 420 South Pulaski store.
Well, currently here on the west side, Garfield Park, we are currently without any grocery store once again. All of the months that we met collectively with these 6 other communities, including Auburn Gresham, to get them to come to the table in good faith to stand and keep open grocery stores in our communities, leveraging our tax dollars to make that happen, to find that within 2 short years, the doors are sheltered. We are working here diligently to be in contact with the Yellow Banana Group to ensure the asset that was invested in our community is not stolen. We know that in our communities, if we have business that have equipment, if the store is not open in the middle of the night, the early morning hours, somebody's going to jump a fence, climb a roof, and get some of the necessary items needed to keep those stores open, like the cooling refrigerator unit, air conditioned compressors that are on top of the store. Those things can easily walk away. We are here with you all this evening to find out what solutions you all may have to offer. And as we've worked with Carlos so long, once we have our meeting in our community in a couple of weeks, we will be happy to share with you all what our plans are. And so in solidarity, we can work together to ensure that our communities have what other communities have, at least a grocery store. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Angela. Let's hear from the Senior Center. They've got a lot to say, Naomi and Sylvester Smith.
Good evening. My name is Nisi. I'm the service coordinator for Naomi and Sylvester Senior Living Center. When talking to my residents about the closing of Save-A-Lot, for them, it was like another heartbreak. Because first it was the Walmart, which was easy for them to access and get to on Pace or, Uber, or just having a family member come pick them up and take them. With Save-A-Lot, for some, especially the men in my building, that was their exercise. So they would get up in the morning and go down 2, 3 at a time and conversate and talk and, and socialize while they're going to get their groceries or whatever. So having that store closed for them, it's a big deal because now they got to go all the way to Walmart on 95th or just getting on CTA to go down to 79th and Loomis when Save-A-Lot was right there and was a whole lot closer. So it's a big resource that we've lost.
So this is an opportunity just for all of us to express. Yeah, we have 2 city councilmen here. These are some of the questions that were presented from some of the seniors that were just flashing on the screen. But before, I don't know if David or Will wants to say anything. The 6th district is here. We've got Officer Gaines. Any of the residents, Christopher Watts, what's your thoughts on a reaction to the closing of the Save-A-Lot?
Next, they wasn't the first, they won't be the last. What we've consistently seen in our community is that when these companies come, they stay for a few years. When there's subsidies and assistance go out, they leave. This is nothing new. We should be used to it. What won't bring them back or solve the issue is begging them to stay, asking them why they left, or even wanting them to come back. We just got to do for ourselves and start our own. K-Fresh Foods coming in February of 2027.
Thank you so much, and I'm excited about K-Fresh Foods coming because he's hit the head on a nail. We have to start making sure that we create opportunities for businesses to do, who are in our community to do the work. And as we continue to beg stores to come in, I will say this over and over again, grocery stores do not make grocery store deals, they make real estate deals. They make real estate deals. And in these conversations, whether it's with Tony's, Pete's and everything, and the only reason why you got Pete's at 87th Street is because they were able to get the old Luther South High School property. And that's the reality to that. Now, as it relates to Save-A-Lot, unfortunately, the passing of Joe Canfield, who was a key part to that, but also you got to understand a lot of people who use SNAP benefits, whether you can on the SNAP benefits or you're working. We got working families that have to use SNAP benefits. And those cuts by the Trump administration impacted that a great deal. And people, and that's why just with Auburn Gresham, it was all over the city of Chicago that it was impacted. Even Jewel talked to us and other stores saying that they felt the pain, but they was able to weather the storm better so than Save-A-Lot, especially with the losing of Joe Canfield. Now let me pull this up, and Alderman Will Hall going to speak on it more. The store has a 1-year cure period where they have to find either another operator or another supplier to help them. And so right now, they're in the process of doing that, but the city as well, because they have investment. This is the city's investment. That they put $13 million into this, into these stores. And so they're not gonna let these stores fail because if Save-A-Lot, or in this case, Yellow Banana, because remember, Save-A-Lot was just a supplier. Let me fully let you all understand that. Save-A-Lot was just a supplier. Yellow Banana is the owner, and that's who the city has the contract with and gave the TIF money to. And so they have a 1-year cure period. They are in conversations with different grocers. We've been in conversations with different grocers, but still they have 1 year to do it. We just can't kick them out because that's what their contract says. So as long as they continue to work towards that to find either another supplier to supply their food or operator, one of those two will happen, and we're going to make sure that happens. And if it doesn't, then the city has to step up because they can't let their money, which was tax dollars money, fall down and fall short. I have to take off because I got to get to another 7:30, but Alderman Ronnie Mosley wanted to be here tonight. He had a fundraiser tonight. It's his birthday fundraiser, so he asked me to tell you all to please allow him to be excused for the night. And so we want to just wish him a happy birthday, but also want to keep in mind, because we all care about our residents. Miss Love on 79th and Morgan lost her daughter. We want to keep her in prayer. And one of our other constituents on 85th and Sangamon, Miss Annie Miles, lost her daughter. She's 96. And it's tough when a parent loses their child. And I just, in their absence, or they may be online or whatever, we want to let them know that they are in our prayers. And I'm praying for each and one of you during this time so we can, and that's important, what was stated, eating healthy foods and having healthy options so that we can hopefully live a little longer. Thank you so much, Alderman Will Hall.
First of all, I just want to say that before I say anything about what we're talking about, I believe that this organization, its leader, and this great team is what makes and has made 79th Street worth living. And so before we dive deeper into a problem, we thank God for this solution. So could y'all clap it up for this great leader, Carlos, great Auburn Gresham. I remember back in the day when I went to St. Leo, when this was an aid office, that everybody was wondering what kind of aid and medical care was in here. But to that end, you all, Sylvester, that amazing group of seniors reminds me that at the end of the day, that's what this work is for. And, I loved Alderman Moore, and I inherited this new part of the ward, but Ms. Haynes and Ms. Scott, 81 and 91, live right across the street. And if they can't walk across the street, Sylvester can't walk across the street. Reverend Jackson said it best, if a house is on fire and the wind blows, it's only a matter of time before it blows across the street. And so, though this is the tenet of the 16, it's hurting everybody in the 6. It's hurting everybody down the street in Alderman Mosley's ward. And I'll say this in concluding, that Walgreens did the same stunt on 87. CVS did the same stunt right here. And they strategically close as much as they strategically open. And the same way Chris strategically is opening, I think that this is an opportunity to assure that he doesn't close. Now, are we going to do our due diligence in holding them accountable for this TIF robbery? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, Chris is on the verge of opening up sooner than Save a Lot would coming back. And so we've done our due diligence in getting Chris on our side in the 6, all of the permits, all of the funding, everything and some for their grocery store. Now, in the meantime, what do we do between Chris opening up as Fresh Market and finding somewhere to get quality food? And that's the tension in the room. That's what everybody's upset about. And that's what we're frustrated about. And so I just want to say, in the meantime, number one, if you got a car with an extra seat and you go into the grocery store, put somebody in the seat of the car you got. Because back in the day, when I was growing up, Mr. Morgan went to the grocery store for Ms. Williams. And Ms. Williams couldn't get out to River Oaks to go get the fresh meat because my grandparents is old school. They weren't shopping it on 87th Street or 79th after Tuesday. So the same way Miss Williams got what she needed from River Oaks because there was trunk space in my grandfather's trunk, less seat space for our neighbors. B, in addition to, there are, and pride is a trip, but there are so many extra supporting agencies that can still provide free groceries. Right down the street, even in his absence, St. Sabina has done what they can with what they got to assure that we got food. So as you get the hookup and you know where the hookup is, share the hookup. Because nobody should starve when the food depository is putting all this food in our hood. And then last but not least, hold us accountable. Hold myself, and I'm way younger than Alderman Moore, and he got 10 times more energy than me and 2 times the experience. And so if he makes me look lazy and incompetent, which I'm not, that goes to show you what both this energy can do. So hold us accountable to continuing to look for the solution in the midst of the absence. And so we ain't stalling, we ain't ducking and diving, but again, corporations are what they are, which are greedy, and when they get what they want, they gone. But those 3 things, find trunk space, car space, get the hookup to your neighbors, and hold us accountable to expedite Chris opening up Fresh Market so we can get all something to eat. And I'm grateful, last but not least, that Mike got a promotion at the Park District. So as y'all get ready to talk about this park, Mike got more energy than me and Alderman Moore. So he gonna wear y'all out. God bless y'all.
And my chief of staff, Kadaro Jackson, will be here remaining in my absence if there's any questions regarding the 17th Ward. And I want to thank the Park District for their input, and really Carlos for taking on this and helping me with this, and the Sylvester Center, the senior home, all of them. I wanted their input, so I asked them to reach out to you all, and they've done that. And thank you all so much for that.
Thank you, thank you. All right, so we've got some questions. Plus, I want to hear, we've got the beat facilitator for Beat 621 in the room. I want to hear from Tim, beat facilitator for Beat 612 in the room. We've got a question in the back. Hang on, make sure you speak in the mic so that you can be heard online. And there's a hand raise on the Zoom, Kenny. Ina Jones, you want to unmic?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, I am. I'm very interested in this conversation, and I'm sorry I couldn't make it. I'm in traffic coming from Bolingbrook, but I'm the CEO of Roots and Vine Produce and Cafe, and we're set to open a store in the Inglewood community on 66 and Sangamon. But due to many challenges, um, um, we're not open yet. But we work with farmers all across the country. I'm a partner in the meat company, and part of the reason we're not open is because trying to get support is like giving, especially financial support and funding support is like giving a hungry bear a pork chop. I mean, a salad, and but I'm a partner in a meat company. I control about 3,300 acres of farmland in 11 different states. I have farmers that grow exclusively for me, and we sell to Publix, Piggly Wiggly, Snipes, and all of these other stores. But we sent the city of Chicago a proposal for a public-private partnership for our grocery stores to reopen those markets with Save a Lot. And we also reached out to Save a Lot and DL3 regarding opening the store, seeing what's possible for the Inglewood store. We own 100% of our protein in beef, pork, turkey, and duck. And we're working on chicken and eggs. We are already registered with every distribution. We are certified grocer, so we can buy everywhere from KeyHe to UNFI, Cisco, all the major distribution networks. I mean, distributors. We already have accounts with. We have food.
So, Ms.
Our
Jones, why
problem
don't
is
you share,
locations.
share your specific information so that we can distribute it to everyone in the room. This sounds like a great solution to this temporary uh, problem that is actually presenting itself as an opportunity. So I'm going to pause you right there. We've got a room
Okay.
full of folks, and we only have about 5 more minutes because we've got Chicago Park District. There's a park coming to Halsted, and I need all of you guys to hang around to hear that. So thank you, Ms. Jones. And another question in the room.
Good evening. My name is Miss Jackson, and I'm a resident on 79th in South Peoria. The gentleman who left, I believe it was Alderman Hall that just spoke, and he made reference to the CVS closing. He mentioned that corporations are coming in and then they're turning around and leaving, but what he did not state for a fact is that CVS closed due to shoplifting. That's why that store closed. And there has been a lot of speculation when we had a meeting before saying that the residents were not patronizing the CVS and the Save a Lot before this new reimagined Save a Lot opened. It had to do with shoplifting. That's why the stores closed. These corporations aren't just moving in and leaving for no reason. When you have shoplifting, that increases the prices for those customers. The company has to invest in hiring security, which means that they're having to sit here and I guess their profit overall is being decreased. So we need to quit all the speculation, and our so-called elected officials need to go into the stores and speak with the store management and the employees. Because I know for a fact from Dale, who was the manager, and Chuck and Steve, who were the manager at Save a Lot, that's the reason why they closed. And I don't understand how we have all this shoplifting when we have a police station right up the street. And I witnessed it for myself. 4th of July holiday, a young man walked in, grabbed 2 cases of ice cold beer, and walked out of CVS. So let's quit all the speculation and let's get to the facts.
All right. We've got that recorded.
Whoever opens up a store, you all need to address that, the crime.
And by the way, I'm glad you mentioned that. The K-Fresh Market that was mentioned a number of times will be opening up at 8105 South Halsted. 8105, it was the old liquor store. It's gutted. He's removed the roof. That was Chris Brown. Chris Watts, who is the owner and operator of that store, and that is it. I wish he were still here to hear that point, but we're all still here. And if Officer Gaines wants to comment on theft or beat facilitator beat 621.
Thank you, Carlos, and good evening, everyone. Tim Thomas, I'm the beat facilitator for 621. So welcome to Beat 621. I'm your longtime neighbor right down the street on 79th and Peoria, from Providence Hospital to 79th and Peoria, and still there. But the question that is being begged, and we need to hear, unfortunately the electeds have left, is not only how do we get there, because I've been to all the meetings. We had plenty of meetings where the purported owners of the enterprise represented themselves as the owner, but then when someone else passed away, the whole operation went where else. So I think going forward, we need to have more due diligence from the electeds before we give away $13 million, because you're not going to see it back. We're going to try and hope and pray, and that's what happens when you beg for someone to come to your community. I don't beg for someone to spend my money with. People want to come here because they want to come here. As a lifelong resident of this community, I'm not begging anyone to come here. And I would just hope that going forward, we aren't here a year and a half from now when the next iteration of Yellow Banana shows up, gets 13 million, and then closes a year later. So I think the feet need to be held to the fire. We need more accountability from people who are making those decisions. Unfortunately, they've left, but they will hear from this when they see the tape of this, and make sure that we don't make the same mistake twice and do what was done, and as my granddaddy say, step back in it. So let's make sure we do the right thing the next time.
All right. I see Sally Wells, who operated a business right here on 79th Street for I don't know how many years. Do you have any thoughts about this topic?
Our biggest problem is we spend so much money into big box business until we neglect our small businesses, and we're the catalyst of the community. This is how we make a community work for us. And this is our biggest problem. No one gave me money to stay in business. No one gave me money to sit and say, the crime I had, shoplifting, I had all of that. But the city didn't come in and says, I'm gonna make your tax break better. And I paid more taxes because I had a liquor store along with the food store. I owned the property that was a unit of apartments. They never came in to say, I'm gonna subsidize your housing to make you be able, because a lot of my tenants couldn't pay me. I owe water bills now. And I'm not eligible for anything, but we keep giving back to big box business that stays in our community for 2 years, and then they're gone. And we're here at this meeting doing the same thing I've been doing for 40 years. Yeah, I know, right? I don't even look like that, right?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Officer Gaines.
Hi, I'm Officer Gaines. I'm the Business and Alderman Liaison for the 6th District. I hear everyone's concerns. I am a part of this community as well. Believe it or not, I work and I go home and I live here. I really feel with what's going on, we have to take it back to old school to some degree. No one's coming on the police department the way they used to. That's why we're really filling in these block clubs, block presidents, knowing your neighbors, getting to know each other. And even if we can start with these small mom and pop stores on the corner, we have to go back to the old school because we've gone so far in the police. How come you all aren't doing this? Them people on 79th, y'all know them. Y'all know them. They've been up here for years. They somebody grandson, they somebody granddaughter. We have a new commander, a new lieutenant of the TAC team. You can see they're clearing it out. But all they doing is going up under another bush. We can't just go attack him. Oh, he took some milk. You think I'm about to go tackle him and end up on the news and lose my whole good pension? I'm not. So if they choose to leave, they did their research before they got here. and they chose to leave because they chose to leave. But as a community, I think we need to get back to the old school. And I'm going to preach that because I see the turnover. I have 25 years on this job, and I know I don't look like it. But 25 years ago, I could do a whole lot of stuff that I will not do now. So keep in mind, I don't mind, our office is available. I work very closely with GAGDC. I can look into something if someone asks me to look into it, but we can't just go jump on somebody's head because, oh, you took a candy bar. We can't. I would be in jail. My family would be posted on the news. Anything I do on and off duty will be a Chicago police officer. But as a community, if we stand together as a whole, we're showing the people who are standing out there, the few, whoever grandsons those are, granddaughters those are, that we're out here as a community. Every Friday, we do a prayer rally. We walk the neighborhoods. You can call us. We do stuff. You say, hey, it's a problem over here. We'll do a pop-up on that block to show the community, hey, we stand together. We can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. We're here to be a bridge to work together. We can't point the finger, you're not doing it. Well, what are you doing? So as the police, as a community member, as a person that's seeing the changes, we have to come together and stop looking for somebody else to save us.
All right.
And I also want to add that Officer Gaines in 6th District does a great job with leading 6th District business subcommittee meetings. So a lot of times we come to these community meetings and we talk about what is and isn't happening, but the person that's here to help us, that's here to lead those efforts, is hosting the meeting for you to have that time and that space to share what's going on so that she know exactly how to address those problems. So, yeah. So when is the next meeting, Officer Gaines?
The next meeting is, what is this, September 8th, 2026. So we have a Zoom, it's all Zoom, so you could just jump in at 10 o'clock, the second Tuesday of every month, and I have several flyers. If anybody is interested, if nothing else, we're bringing the businesses together so we can have our own network, and we can look into it, and we can look out for each other.
And we'll get that posted online for everyone to jump in as well, or we're going to start the transition. I do want to give a shout out to the Honorable Latasha Thomas, who was the alderman here in the 17th Ward for almost 2 decades. 2 decades. Latasha's here, and she can walk to both the former Save-A-Lot site as well as this Park District site. So it's great that you're here to contribute as well. And Kenny is pointing. Oh, one last question. And as the mic, do you have the mic already?
Yes, I have the mic. How y'all doing? My name is Gayo. I'm a developer, HM44 Redevelopment Company. I build modular homes in other states. Hopefully, we'll break the rules a little bit so we can start building them here. But what I wanted to speak on from experience is my truck was stolen years ago, and I went to the police station. I took the footage of the recording of the guys doing it and everything. And Illinois passed a law that says Illinois will not pursue personal property. So what that does is the police force will not dispatch detectives and everybody to go look for your stolen property because of the insurance. They have things called FDIC, which your stuff is federally insured. They have loss prevention. They have other programs. But if we want to get things changed, we got to go to legislation and see if we can get that turned back around, because Illinois would not, in Chicago, Cook County, they will not be dispatching police officers to look for stolen property that doesn't exceed a certain amount. My truck was returned to me a year later. A sergeant called me about 2:30 in the morning and said it was in Reynolds, Illinois. And I went back and got it. But that's just for y'all. That's about the stealing and everything. It's not that it's a small matter. It's just that it causes too much collateral damage to try to stop it.
All right.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that statement. We're going to continue to track
we're going to keep it on track.
This issue would save a lot, and we're looking for solutions, even as City Council is working and Yellow Banana is trying to, they've got this one now 11-month cure period to find, as the Alderman mentioned, a new operator or a new distributor. We are still seeking solutions. In fact, we're exploring a jitney service, a shuttle service that would likely benefit primarily seniors and maybe do some grocery delivery options and the like. And so we're looking at that for potentially rolling that out in December of this year, but really just trying to find solutions.
Mason.
Okay, and Maysoon Fakuri is the owner of Ada's Liquors. There's a statement there she would like to propose, and she's also the co-chair of the 6th District Business Subcommittee. She would like to propose turning this space into a neighborhood marketplace made up of small, locally owned businesses. Instead of looking for one large grocery store to fill the entire space, we can divide it into smaller, more affordable spaces for entrepreneurs from within our community who have good business ideas but cannot afford a large storefront. So we need more of that. And if you have ideas, thoughts, concepts, as we continue to track this issue with this vacant building at 7908 South Halsted, and there's one at 107th in Halsted, a Save-A-Lot, and there's one at 63rd in Halsted. And as you heard from our West Side friends, one at 420 South Pulaski, one at 4400 block of West 63rd Street, and I'm drawing East 83rd Street. These are issues that citywide we're looking to, and there's Angela, citywide we're looking to address. And so let's transition. This is a softer conversation that should go rather quickly, but you'll see these folks, I would imagine, over the next year plus as we look to develop more beautification along South Halsted.
Okay, hello. Do you want me to move this or do you want to, we can talk off of this. Can you go to the existing conditions plan? That one, yeah. Okay, this is just to give you some context. I'm sorry, I was just trying to move things along. Jennifer Bulin Larson, I am a project manager at the Park District in planning and construction. This is my colleague, Jim Harney, with Legislative Affairs. And we are here to talk about the park that is coming soon. This is just an introduction to the park. We hope to work with you guys over the next few months, however long it takes to figure out what it is that you want in this space. But context, it's 81st and Halsted. Right now, it is a mess. It is a park. It was acquired in the 70s through a number of things, including HUD grants. So because of the HUD, not grants, because of the HUD restrictions, it can only be a park. It cannot be developed as anything else. So this will be a park. Currently, it has seen a lot of people fly dumping and parking cars, taking down the fence and parking cars. There is a Park District sign on the fence that was spray painted over. So we've been getting, the Park District has been getting a lot of citations from the city. So we've been talking to GAGDC and the Alderman's office about cleaning this up. So our first phase is going to be coming in, taking out all the old pavement that's there, regrading the site, bringing in new sod, trees, topsoil, closing the fence around it so people cannot park in there. And it will start to look like a park. So hopefully that will keep some people, yeah, great. You're fine. So that will help people to understand what's coming. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come back and we're going to work with all of you to determine what it is you might want to see there. So this will be a clean slate when we're all done with this. I got a notification yesterday that bids are in, contract is going to be awarded. So this will be clean and green, trees, grass, before the snow flies. This will be done this year. So that's a good thing. And then we can talk about what we want to do with it next, whether that's short-term activation, working with these guys. There can be any number of things. But I know that there's a grander plan to unite this space with this space and then the Green Era campus and create a nice walkway, with this being the center point, perhaps. So there's a lot of other things that will play into this, which is why we're going to continue this conversation. But this is just an option, just so you guys could see something that might happen here. What this shows is a passive park. We're thinking this area needs some passive recreation, a place for people, especially with the home, that people can go out, walk around a path, get some exercise. You were saying that now that the grocery store is not there, that the guys can go and walk around. There'll be a picnic shelter. Over here, we can have grills, we can do whatever we decide, essentially. We'll have drinking fountains, this pathway, a nice place for people to put a blanket on the lawn, play a little bit of sports with little kids or whatnot, but just a nice place to gather as a community and see something nice and green and pleasant. So that's just an option.
You talking about?
Yeah, just because you were talking about the planting of trees, will there be any native flowers that are planted so that it's part of the beautification?
There can be.
Park?
There absolutely can be. At this point, with this initial clean and green that we're talking about, this one, there won't be. It'll just be grass and trees. But yes, when we come back and decide if this is what we want to do or something else, then yes, we can discuss all of those things.
Thank you for sharing, but I need a little more clarity as to how do you determine, or why do you determine what will be in the clean green space relative to the planting of trees, et cetera, where the community may decide that they want a different placement and layout. I think I heard you say that that would be the first phase.
Yeah, so the first phase is really, we're just putting trees around the perimeter, nothing inside. So that what we would like is to have the inside as a clean slate, so that we can come back, we can all meet here again or in whatever way and discuss what sort of things you would like to have there, like plants and more benches or any number of things.
I understood that.
Yeah.
Again, my point is you're identifying foliage to be put up, and we don't know if that would be what the community would want relative to the current placement. You're doing this prior to input from the community. So you're still, I mean, and you've given some options, I understand that, but all of that is without input from the community. I've been on this rodeo before where, and I'm not, saying this is you, I'm going to say experientially in this community, people have come up and they've already had some plans. First, we need to get input before we decide how much foliage you want to put in. Or are you saying that's not the process and it has to be what you're sharing with us tonight?
So one of the issues we have right now is that this is an area that we are getting, tickets for. We're getting citations for right now. We need to sort of do something as soon as possible to put grass down and sort of make it a park. We know the trees, are part of a typical park land. There are no parks that I know of in our 700 parks that don't have trees. This is just part of standard basic what we're doing. This is as basic as it gets. This is sort of what we're doing. We can we are not putting anything in here that is sort of custom, anything that is different, anything that is a determination of what this will finally be. what this will finally be is what we come and gain from the insights that we get from these community meetings that we will be attending to learn more from what the community wants for this park.
I understand that all parks have trees. That was not my challenge. My concern was the identification of the placement before we say what our park will look like. That was my impetus. Carry on.
Yeah. Are you doing your online? Okay. Yeah, Tim Thomas again. So a couple of questions. And I got a partial answer when you say you're getting ticketed and there are other things that, was the impetus for something after 55 years of a plot of land being vacant. I mean, I was a little guy playing up at that spot. Brother may remember we drilled a strikeout box on the side of the building there on that sloped piece of land. So other than the ticketing, how did this remain fallow, so to speak, for 55 years? And we're just now getting to something where we're now seeing some action. What was the nudge piece that made that happen? Because I'm interested in knowing, from age 6 to now something, now here we are. And then also just for an aesthetic piece, is it going to be graded out? Because anyone who's over there know that land slopes towards the street, which caused us a lot of ground ball problems when we were playing strikeout over there. But so will that be leveled out? How will that work? Because the street is at one level and the alley is up here.
Yeah, it will be a gentle slope as it is. We're not digging everything out because we have to deal with what is existing. So yes, there will be a gentle slope and it will be regraded. All the pavement that's there is going to be taken out. Why it sat fallow for 55 years? No idea. I've only worked for the Park District for 2 years.
I mean, that's something you'll bring back to us, because some of us want to know, because we don't want to know or have something like that happen again. And then we'll get into other things about the budgeting for it, the fencing, how will that be patrolled, because another open space, we get into constitutional issues where people can hang around that can't be run off. I think, well, Officer Gaines is no longer here, but that's what we encounter now. So what will be the piece to prevent that from being another spot where people are hanging out and that sort of thing?
Hey, so a couple of things in regards to the park, actually some stuff happening there. It's actually the residents behind there too who did a push for this. And we also reached out to the park district a little over a year ago, asking about like what can happen with that. We got a lot of new people who bought property behind there when they bought the 2 flats and different things like that on that actual block, and they got tired of people throwing trash in a lot behind their houses. They got tired of people parking their cars back there behind there. So actually it's a lot of community involvement that went into some of this push being happening. Now, I will say this. I always challenge the community to talk to each other's neighbors, come together. GAGDC is one of the people that's heading this up. Stay in communication with them. Say what you want in the park. Say what you have an idea of. Don't come asking, I'm sorry, I'm kind of direct sometimes, but don't come asking why you ain't doing this, or why you, if you're not actually making suggestions and say, hey, I think I might want a dog park. I think we can have some chess tables in this park. We've done this with other projects that's been in the community and different things like that. Let's go, I would say let's take this as a positive opportunity where people are not no longer just parking their abandoned cars here and leaving them, where we don't just have concrete out here and you got people out here just throwing bottles everywhere. And honestly, it was a headache to the neighbors behind it. And, we got some progress going. I like that part. So I would definitely say as a community, give me 1 second. But as a community, continue to work with GAGDC. And we have some other community partners that's partnering to head this up for the Auburn Gresham community to say what you guys would like to see in this park before. Like to say, this isn't the last of it all. We're going to have more meetings about this. We're going to have it where you can have more input. Before that comes, if you can, talk to each other. Reach out to one another, the people on your block or whatever it may be. And if you got one representative to say, hey, these are the things we came up with. These are things that has happened where even we've had businesses that came and wanted to do some new ownership things where they had to agree to certain terms with the community before we allowed that to happen. The community does have a voice, enable it in the right way. That's all I encourage people to do all times. I know you want to say something.
My name is Michael Lindsay. I'm the area manager of all the parks in the Inglewood area, including Foster Park that is in Arkham Gresham. I implore you, I love your passion. Please keep it. We need it inside of the park district. I implore you guys to go to your local park, go to all the events that's going on there, all the um, programs that are also there, and tell the park supervisor what you want to see in your local park. That will increase your health, your physical, and your mental health. We are here for you so your life and your livelihood is better. It is your local park. We are here to serve you all. So whatever you want to see at your local park, please go to your park and demand and ask that you get this activity, this program, so you and your kids and your family and yourself will be healthier, happier, and your property value will go up. Again, my name is Michael Lindsay. I'm the area manager of all the parks in Inglewood, including Foster Park, which is right around here on 83rd and Loomis. I am out of Hamilton Park, Cultural Center, 72nd and Normal. It's a huge cultural center. There's 2 events tonight happening at Hamilton Park. You probably don't know about it. Please go to your local park and see what's going on. There are tons of things going on in your local park, but we need you all to come to it, take ownership of it, and that will also help with the violence, the crime, the gangs, the looting, everything. Please get involved in your local park.
Yep, thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, this is an interim step right here as we continue on the design and development of ultimately what this passive park could possibly look like. We've got questions from seniors at Naomi and Sylvester Smith Senior Center. I know, Tim Thomas, you have another engagement, so I want to thank Beat Facilitator from Beat 621, Tim Thomas, for being present. Yes, absolutely. This is just, one of the steps being taken as we all together design what this park will look like. Norma, what do you have to share?
I think you just said it, but I'll just close it out. Because Miss Elaine has been so inclusive in a lot of the process that we have. But Cordero, you were talking so fast, you had all the right answers. This is a start where, as your community representatives, that you pay Carlos a lot of money and me a little money to do the work. We have been in meetings. This is not the first time we've seen this on your behalf of them saying, we have to get this cleaned up fast. This is what's allowed for some of the landscaping that's demanded by the city. You forgot to say that with these trees. And we're gonna come back, set a date, and have a charrette or 1, 2, 3, whatever it takes to get this done and to get our input. This is just like Carlos said, step 1, let's clean it up. Let's get those cars out of there. Let's get, the fly dumping stopped, and we will come back and design this park. Even if every tree has to go, we might have some limitations with city landscaping for that, but we'll figure out where we want them. They might move. We talked about this.
And Norma, as we wrap up really quickly, there's some, we've got a question here. These are questions that I just want everyone to see that some of the seniors at Naomi and Sylvester Smith, just a half a block across the street, have. And these might be some of your own questions that you have. But so we're going to leave these on the screen, and then this young lady has a question. And this young
I'm sorry, I just got a quick question because everybody was talking about like grocery stores and this, and you were saying like eating healthy and things like that. I know that there's a program where people are taught how to grow vegetables, grow green peppers, onions, potatoes, and anything like that. Is this some place where even a part of that can be done? Yes. Where everybody comes and just, instead of groceries, teach the community how to come out and grow green peppers, onions, cucumbers, watermelons. My mother does it every
That would be a partnership. So
every year.
if you know an individual or an organization or a farmer who
There
wants to
is something
use
like
the
that
space for a partnership, then yes, that can happen as well
in this park.
in this location, in any location, in any part district in the city of Chicago.
Okay.
It could be a partnership. And so there's a procedure for partnerships online, or go to your local park and then they will also tell you too how to obtain that partnership.
Okay. Because is it one on 63rd in Inglewood or something like that? I met a guy who said he was.
That's a grocery store. It is one in Inglewood, but it's not part of the park district.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Grow Greater.
Grow Green, is that it? Okay. All right. Thank you.
She trying to have the meeting tonight. So Carlos, let's girl, we're going home tonight. So let's go through some of the questions, because I think there's some people online that sent in some of these same questions that the senior had. You want to just hit a few of them? Do we have time for that, Kenny?
Hang on.
The location of the park, what's the exact address?
8120 South Halsted.
8120 South Halsted. The timeline, we're hoping to have this phase of the park complete by the end of the year. And then, the community process and talking about how we want to envision the park going forward will sort of dictate timeline for the park phase 2, whatever that looks like going forward. In terms of other questions, will there be crosswalks, flashing beacons, pedestrian signals, traffic calming?
Sorry. All of those items can be discussed as we're going through all of this. One of the other things that was discussed sometime tonight is getting people like CDOT involved, because they would be the people that we would have to talk to for crosswalks and for other traffic calming measures. So as we progress with this charrette and this whole envisioning of what we would like, those are the partners that we'll need to pull in.
Including the types of lighting, which is the next question, will be a part of this designing process. Will there be fencing around and so it's not a playground. So let's clear that up. This is a passive park. So there won't be equipment out there, swings, etc. So this is a passive park, more a designed open space, less an active park, if you will. And then let's just finish it up. Safety measures for crime, young people hanging, and I don't know who brought that up, even drinking in the playground. Will there be additional enforcement? So I think the juxtaposition between this and Renaissance Park, which, thank God we have St. Sabina and it feels like it belongs to St. Sabina. That's not the case here. So we're all going to really have to work to solve or address kind of that issue, because we know Father Mike, even though Chicago Park District is out there, Father Mike will pick up the phone and call instantaneously. Unfortunately, we don't have the luxury of having an entity or a resource like St. Sabina at this park. So, all right.
I think you have to remember that as residents, we were not privy to what has been discussed relative to this plan, which is where my questions come from. So I did hear the alderman's representatives spoke to share that there have been in our community partners who have been identified for working on this project. As a resident, and certainly nobody's sending it to me, but I don't know, how do we know, and how do we know and get involved relative to this project? Okay, that becomes the conundrum here relative to our participation. We know that the city has I know that the city has its own restraints relative to what landscaping has to look like in areas. So it wasn't against anything. We're for everything that makes our community better, but we must have the information and communication so that we can continue to be participants, because that's what everybody wants, supposedly, is community participation.
Yes. I know that we've had a couple of residents who have actually called 311 because for them, the gas station, the hoagie place, some of them go to the nail shop. Of course, some of them go to the liquor store, but coming through that area, just coming across the sidewalk, some of them use walkers. So for that area, some of it's a trip hazard. So I've had some residents actually call in 311 to complain just about the area, and then when they're coming past, having guys standing out in the cars and seeing people dump the garbage. So they have, I know a couple of my residents have told me that they called 311 to complain to see when is this area going to be fixed up. So.
So to answer your question, real quick, if you go inside of your local park right now, there's a ballot box that's asking people who come inside the park for suggestions on how to spend money, how to make your park better. So inside of your park, if you go in there, there are flyers and pluggers on the counter, on the table that are asking you all for your input. But you'll never know if you don't go inside your local park. So please go inside your local park because most things are going to be posted there. We get them and we spread them out to all the parks in my area so they have a ballot on their desk asking you all for your input on many things.
So my question is, I don't know if this would be a partnership. So this is a great idea, especially for the first phase. Um, what I would offer is, would I be talking to you, or who would I be talking to as far as a partnership, or when they mentioned that they wanted to do like the Go Green and something like that. So I did 21 homes in Cleveland, and we got it down to a cookie cutter method where I did from dirt to key in, 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom homes in 60 days. So I would definitely be open to drawing out, cutting out a section, and we come together and agree, especially with the neighbors and the citizens of this area, and for the community to put a station there that can be used when, if they want to say, hey, I want to go and do this today and I want to teach this, the station will already be there, be prepared. It will have electrical, it'll have water, or the essentials that'll be needed, and we can put it in the area. And I just would like to know, who would I talk to? Okay, okay, all right, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, so we're going to wrap up. And so this is, so we've had multiple meetings, community partners, New Pisgah Missionary Baptist Church, GAGDC, et cetera. And so this is the first presentation. These folks are going to be with us as we design this together. Ms. Wilson, I hear you loudly and clearly. And so this is the start of that process. So, and I think her point is, particularly, you've already said these, you know, the project has been let already. These trees are going in, and I think we want to take a step back and garner more input from residents before we can commit to all of this. Is that, well, because the only thing that's going to be here at the end of this day is a fence and this graded turf, it's grass, and fence and grass, basically. So, you know, the next time we come back, prior to the snow, that's all. It'll be fenced in, it'll be graded. I would imagine sewage will be addressed, all the infrastructure. Yeah. All right, so it'll be a clean slate for us to work with. Okay, we're gonna close out. I'm gonna let this young man, future leader who will be standing in my place, hopefully sooner than later, close us out. What time is it today, right now? It's 8 o'clock, good, here we go.
So also about this project, how long is it and how Why is it?
So it's the depth, or the width, I guess, or this dimension is a standard city lot, so 125 feet. I don't know exactly what this dimension is off the top of my head, but I know that the entire space is 0.77 acres. 4 lots. So.
He has a project, that's why he's
Oh, okay. Good job. Good job.
Next meeting and what? We sell it too.
So thank you all for coming. Before you leave, it's one more person we didn't mention that's on our economic development team as well.
Me? Okay. I wasn't trying to speak, but hey, y'all, I'm Priscilla Thomas. So I am the SSA 69 coordinator. I kind of manage, not kind of, I do manage Ashton Avenue from 80th to 95th Street. So I actually need to talk to the gentleman who has 83rd, that Foster Park. So for all like the businesses over there, um, we're really trying to develop it and everything like that. So the same kind of questions that you guys have here, we also want to encourage those questions as well. Just be on the lookout for any updates to the corridor, because we also want to, as a community partner, we always want to hear your inputs about what we're doing in the community. Nothing of what we do is done without input from the community and without you guys in our hearts to make sure that we're putting our best out for you. That's all I really had to say. I don't know if anyone else. Yeah.
Um, there is a flyer outside. We are having a Music in the Park event at West Chatham Park this Saturday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Free music. We'll have 3 live bands out. Bring your lawn chairs and come enjoy.
Thank you all. The next roundtable is October the 15th. October the 15th. Thank you.